So hi guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I'm sat in my, pyjamas basically, with a dog on a sofa, which means it's another one of these videos where I sit and talk at the camera for a while. So if you don't like those, you're probably going to want to cut it here. Purpose of today's video is to sort of give my guide to buying cars. It's going to be a bit different from other people's sort of buyer's guide. It's not your classic, Mike Brewer-esque one. That's not to slag him off or anyone else, by the way. That they're probably way more knowledgeable than me, actually. But in this case, this is how I've learned to buy cars and sometimes get a really good bargain by maybe doing the opposite of what most people would say you should do. So yeah, get yourself a drink, because I have, and sit back and watch this idiot talk a load of for the next half hour or so. So, I've broken this down to 3 lessons, right? There's 3 main lessons to buying cars in my world. So, this is Jason's 3 commandments to buying a used vehicle and trying to get your best value for money, right? So, lesson number 1, it's all about research, right? Research. Think about that for a second. So, you're in the market for your new motor, right? You might know what you want to buy, but you might not want to know. You might have a few different cars lined up. It's pretty common sense to do research on that, find out which one's the best, which has the best fuel economy, insurance, blah, 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 all that The thing I'm talking about mainly is do your research into the market. You want to see what prices these cars are selling for. If you've seen an advert where it's up for silly money, but it's up there for years, discount it, because it ain't selling, it ain't worth that much money. Look at previous eBay auctions. There's an option in eBay to show sold items, so you can have a look through stuff that's gone through an auction and sort of get an idea. Keep an eye on classifieds, save cars on your watch list, save cars on your Facebook, save cars on Auto Trader. All these different sites have options for saving cars, and just keep watching them, even if you're not ready to buy the car yet. And just keep an eye on the market for them, because when you do go to buy a car, it'll give you a pretty good idea of where they're at, and where maybe they're going as well. If they're on a bit of an onward trajectory or a downward one, you don't know. And yeah, the usual stuff when you research a car, due diligence, I would say. You've got to look at the car's common problems and how frequent they are, because a lot of times, there's a lot of internet scaremongering about things. And also know your own ability to fix these things. If there are issues that have to be done at a specialist and cost thousands and thousands, just budget for it. And if you can't, maybe it's not the car for you, really. But yeah, I think the overall thing on doing your research is know what you're getting yourself into financially. Don't financially fuck yourself. Know the amount to pay for the car in the first place, depending on condition, etc. And then know what bills could crop up. Lesson 2. Which sites do I use and where do I find my cars? This is a good one. I actually use a combination of many, so get your tabs ready on your Chrome or your browser. The main ones I use at the moment are eBay, Facebook, Car and Classic, Auto Trader, and Gumtree. Sort of in that order as well. I usually go to eBay first, then I'll look at Facebook, then I'll look at Car and Classic, then Auto Trader, then Gumtree. Gumtree is a bit of a toilet. I don't think I've ever bought a car from Gumtree. There's not a lot on there, but sometimes things come up and the timing hasn't arrived for me or whatever. eBay's the main one for me. I think you've got your classifieds, you've got your auctions and everything like that, and your dealers are on there now, so it's a pretty big market. Most of the stuff you see on Auto Trader is a repeat of eBay. However, I wouldn't discount Auto Trader. I often do by accident, but there's often little gems that come up on there. Facebook is a bit of a third world country when it comes to the wild west of its marketplace. It's a really marketplace. It's difficult to navigate, difficult to search, but I've bought a few cars off there now, and yeah, you can find some good ones. Now, let's have a sip of this lovely, cheapest wine they had in Sainsbury's. See, I think the most important part about lesson 2, I've already told you what sites I use and such and such, but the most important part is when you're scrolling through these websites, it's very easy to get drawn in by the really nice adverts with really nice photos and really nice writing. Everyone tells you that they're the best ones to go for, and everyone tells you that's how to write an advert, and I agree. However, if you want a bargain car, seek out the adverts. And I mean the adverts, the ones where the pictures are bad, the English is barely English, and, maybe the car even has some distasteful mods on it, maybe stuff that you can revert, obviously, but I've often found that's a good way of buying a bargain. Yeah, cars like my Range Rover, they had some bad wheels on it, some grills. It put a lot of people off, but didn't put me off because I knew I could sell those parts and it would pay for the new parts to go on, or the original parts I should say. So there is a way of gaming the system a bit there. Everyone tells you to look for the best example. Sometimes it's okay not to. And like the thing about the adverts, just because someone isn't very good with technology or isn't very good with English or isn't that smart doesn't mean they're not good at looking after their car. It doesn't mean the car's bad either. So don't discount it. Just ring these people up and chat to them. I found some really good cars for bargain prices because these adverts have been up for ages. Everyone's ignored them because they didn't want to buy them. The seller keeps putting the price down. He or she doesn't know, I should say, why the car isn't selling, whereas I do, because they've got a crap advert and they're advertising it maybe in one place, and it took me a while to find it. Another thing I want to talk about is eBay, specifically auctions on eBay. One thing that I do quite often is I will sit and I will try and look for cars on eBay that finish at a really unsociable hour. So, for example, the Range Rover finished at like 10 o'clock in the evening on Boxing Day. Everyone's asleep on Boxing Day at that time normally, or drunk, or just busy doing other stuff. I was drunk, but I was just laid here bored, and I just threw a bid in and I happened to win it. Some people have them at during a work day. A lot of people can't access the internet at their phone during the work day, but if you know an auction's going to end, you can sneakily snip off to the toilets or under your desk or whatever, or go out for a fag break and quickly bid on it. I've got some bargains that way as well. So, yeah, look at the auction ending time. If it's a really stupid hour, unsociable, work hours, maybe late evenings, stuff like that, early mornings, then keep an eye on those because I've got some really good bargains that way. No one's bidding at that time. You can get in there, swoop in, get a good deal. So that's just a little tip for eBay auctions. Look at the ending time. And then, lesson 3 is on viewing the car, dealing with the person. Now, I'm not going to go through the usual spiel. What I will say, though, is 2 things. 1, right? Just know what to look for in the car. This comes back to lesson 1 about research. If it's a car that has a common problem, look for the common problem. Number 2, press every button. I can't tell you how many times I don't follow my own advice and forget to do that. All this sort of stuff people forget when they're focusing on the big problems, which you should look at as well, but just to be clear on that one. And the biggest thing I want to say about viewing is do not be a time waster. You hate it and I hate it when you're selling something and someone is a time waster. Don't bother viewing the car if you don't want it, if it's too much money. Don't message the seller offering, half what the car's up for because you think you're going to get a deal. It'll just piss him off. If people offer me half the money that my car's up for, I usually reply with double the money the car's up for. Because if they don't know what haggling is, neither do I. Yeah, that's terrible wine. So yeah, a bit of a short video than I thought actually. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope it gave you a bit of an insight into how I've bought cars in the past. Like I say, I've owned 29 of them, so I've got quite good at buying and selling them sensibly in my eyes. So yeah, like I say, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for liking and subscribing and commenting. I do actually like reading through your comments. They're really interesting and you're very kind as well. Dog! As I was saying, yeah, if you could like, subscribe, share, comment this stuff, it does really well for my little algorithm thingies. I'm going to finish the rest of this bottle of wine and fall asleep in front of the sofa with this idiot dog. You have a great set. Hope you all keep stay safe. Oh, God. Oh, your farts, dog. Jesus Christ, man. All right, everyone out there, stay safe. Have a good and like, subscribe. Go on my socials, all that sort of stuff.